Don't whine, don't moan, don't yelp, don't shoot it. Call for help. Have a great day. We'll see you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Norton.
And I'm Kevin Rose. Thanks for joining us in the Screensavers. That was R2-D2 doing the show open.
Yes.
This, of course, is Robot Week, which is pretty cool. We have him actually in the studio.
He's chilling.
He's chilling. He's hanging out.
He makes some really odd noises when you miff him off.
Yes, he does.
Don't move his teeth. We're going to have a great show. We're going to see how emotions actually... Remember we saw a robot that was trying to express emotion last night? Today we're going to talk about how emotions might affect the design of robots.
Awesome. And Sarah has some cool stuff on the show tonight.
Did you say R2-D2 gets mad when you move his tea?
Yeah.
He's a tea drinker. That's awesome.
Did you say tea?
I would probably get along with him just fine. Actually, today, this isn't quite, this is a little break from Robot Week with my little tip today. It's fun with thumbnails. Things that you didn't think you could do with thumbnails. I'm going to show you how to do them today.
Thumbnail hacking.
R2 drinks chamomile.
That's my chamomile.
Oh.
And Dan has his first segment today.
I do. Robot Week.
Robot Week. No, what's your segment about? It's Robo Olympics,
It's
right?
Robo Olympics.
Yes.
Robo Olympics. I went to, that's right.
Yes, we've established it's Robot Week.
Say hi to the camera, Danny. Say hi.
Hello. Anyways, I want to tell you how to get a hold of us. The phone number is 888-989-7879. You can also email us at the screensavers at TechTV.com. How do I not know that? Anyways, I also want to let you know we want net cams, but to do that, we're giving away free T-shirts and free net cams. If you don't have a net cam, email us at the screensavers at TechTV.com, and if we like a question, we will get you on with the net cam.
Excellent.
Got you guys.
Sounds good.
So wait, I got to confuse. So you're giving away net cams and you're giving away T-shirts to people with net cams with questions?
We're giving away T-shirts. Oh, I got it right here.
So if you're a net cam caller.
Yes, if you're a net cam caller, you get a T-shirt.
Okay.
If you don't have a net cam, we will give you a net cam if we take you on the show.
Okay.
Excellent.
Fascinating.
Cool stuff. Let's start off with the tech news that caught our eye today. Sarah has the first story.
This one's a little scary. A group of Italian teenagers calling themselves the Black Angels have written a Perl script with a menu-based system of attacks on Cisco routers. Security experts are obviously warning Cisco users to patch their routers ASAP. Black Angels.
The Black Angels. This just seems like another... I mean, these exploits that they're talking about, they've been out for a while.
Right.
They just wrote a front end, a nice little Perl, easy-to-use interface.
They gave script kiddies an easy way to assault Cisco routers.
You know, it's funny because of all the people that we see, most stuff that happens is done through these types of tools. There's not really that many true hackers out there that can really break into this. I run a Cisco router on my main machine that runs my website.
Did you buy it used? Those things are expensive.
Well, it's actually in a co-location facility.
Oh, cool.
But I haven't had anybody break in. In fact, 24 hours. I'll throw this out there. Try and hack my server. It's thebroken.org. I want to see if anybody can do it. 24 hours from now, if you can hack it, I'll give you a free T-shirt. How does that sound?
You better hope none of the ghetto hackers are watching today.
If it's don't delete any of my files if you get in. Kind of leave that stuff alone, but you can replace the index page and make sure to back up the old ones so that I can just write that back. And then email me and tell you how you did it so I can patch the hole.
It should be like, I owned Kevin, ha ha ha.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
No denial of service stuff. I mean, let's not do that. But
have some taste and decorum.
That's right. I'm curious, because we see all these stories about all these script
now there's
kiddies.
Like 4,000 script kiddies are now hammering your site with DOS attacks.
Yeah, we'll just see what happens. I'm curious. Next story.
Okay. Illegal music sharing is apparently no threat to CD sales, according to a recent study issued by researchers at Harvard and the University of North Carolina. The study tracked sales of 680 CDs in late 2002. Songs that were heavily downloaded show no measurable drop in sales, and in fact, file sharing actually increased CD sales for albums that sold more than 600,000 copies. So, for about every 150 downloads of a song from those albums, sales increased by about a copy.
This is true.
Not bad.
Yeah. This is true. This happens with me all the time. I get an email from a friend of mine or an instant message saying, "Hey, check out this, this new band. They're great." And I'll download one of the songs, and if I like it, I'll either buy the song on iTunes or I'll go out and buy the CD. But I think that a lot of people are doing that.
It's pretty amazing. Matter of fact, the story said they take the equivalent of like 5,000 downloads of a song before it would even sort of impact one sale of a CD, based on their most pessimistic projections.
I don't know. It works for me.
Record sales up in Australia right while they're attacking peer-to-peer sites there. Interesting.
We'll see. Next story I really like.
Would you like a Porsche Boxer valued at about $47,000?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me, too. You might be able to win one courtesy of a spammer. Yes, that's right. AOL is raffling off a spammer's Porsche Boxster that they received in a court judgment. Oh, the guy is hurting right now.
That's
Nice in the heart.
awesome.
Yeah.
Now, if we can get the Boxster from the guy at AOL that sends out all the CDs to my house because he's spamming my inbox, my
He's
mailbox.
actually got like a 911 or he's got like a real.
Oh, he's got a real one, not one of those cheapy Porsches.
Not that we wouldn't mind if anybody was thinking about sending us a box.
Yeah, he's got a Leo Porsche, the real nice ones. Leo has a nice car.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's a good idea.
I like that.
I like that. They should do that with all spammers. Anytime they take some of their property, boxers, whatever you get, boxers.
It's kind of nice to see the sort of like
not boxers, Boxster.
This is the kind of stuff that happens to drug dealers.
Yes,
and
it is.
personally, spammers, drug dealers.
I can see it like police auctions, spammers, drug dealers. They're selling all their stuff off at auction. That's cool.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Good stuff.
Excellent.
Good luck getting that Boxster.
All right.
Chris joins us on the phone from Tazewell, Tennessee.
Hey, Chris.
Hey guys,
How's it going?
pretty good.
Yeah, cool.
How can we help you?
Kevin, I would like to fair warn you, my friends are here, and they have already began on your website.
Have they now? And your
Yeah,
friends?
and they say they're almost in.
Oh, really?
Almost.
in. So how far have they gotten? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I'm not really sure. They
Okay.
won't really tell me. They're just telling me they're almost there.
Okay. Well, let me know when they get there.
Yeah.
All right.
It still seems to be up. I still have the main homepage right there.
Almost to Colorado. You may still have 400 miles of Kansas left. You know what I'm saying? You can see the Rockies, but that doesn't mean you're in the right state. At least I hope your router's set up. I hope your router's actually been patched.
Yeah. Well, it's. I apply all the latest patches. Everything is
Do you
up
actually
to
have to
date.
maintain your router?
I do most of the stuff myself, but I also have a guy that helps me out as well.
That's cool.
So, it all depends on what's going on. If he finds a vulnerability that's been discovered that I haven't had a chance to pick up, he'll just send me an email like, I patch this for you, and it's like, cool, thank you. Anyway, on to your question. What can we help you out with?
I was wondering if you would recommend a hardware firewall over a software firewall, and which one you like the best out of the two.
Both.
You like both. You like to double protect yourself.
Well, I know a lot of people who, if they hadn't, it's a lot of one. If you move your computer around a lot, it actually pays to have a software firewall running on your system, even if it's something as basic and underpowered as the software firewall that's built into Windows XP. Because remember, we've had vulnerabilities in Windows XP that were found recently that were exploitable, without having to launch a web page, just being connected to the network. If you had a firewall up, your system was protected. If you didn't have a firewall, your system basically, got nuked. It was kind of frustrating. So in that case, if you have a notebook, if you move it around a lot, and you can't verify whether, if you're going to an internet cafe or going through somebody's, wireless access point that you don't know, it definitely pays to have a software firewall running on your system.
Now, Chris, do you have an extra machine laying around the house, or is there a reason that you're interested in a hardware-based solution?
Well, I was just wondering which one that you thought would be safer. I mean, I do have an extra machine or two in the closet that I could put a software firewall on.
Right.
That's a good idea. I mean, like you said, you always loved SmoothWall.
I think
You're a
SmoothWall's
big fan of that.
idea. Smoothwall.org is a website. It's basically a highly customized version of Linux, and all it does is act as a firewall for your system. That's a great way to lock down your home network. The truth is even the basic NAT, the network address translation that's done on the really inexpensive Linksys home routers, and most of the home routers that are sold from D-Link and all the others, even that, just in terms of hiding the IP addresses, does a lot towards protecting the systems in your house. I mean, you mentioned your hacker friends that were like bombing on Kevin's website, Chris. Are you worried about them? Have you maybe, did you scratch one of their cars? Are you worried about being attacked in the neighborhood? Or Don't laugh. There's nothing worse than having a hacker really mad at you. They can make your life miserable.
That's not really as much as what I'm worried about.
Uh-huh.
They have already gotten into my system and got every one of my games and deleted them. I was up for 2 nights reinstalling all of my games.
Now, these are your friends? Are
Yes.
these your friends that do this to you?
Yes, because I got them about 2 months ago.
Okay.
It's
You
one
know
of
what?
those games
I'd
go
almost
back
say
and forth.
Smooth wall would be a nice start, maybe with another smooth wall behind it, or maybe put a, you're the guy that start looking up on eBay for Cisco routers.
One of the things, Chris, we got to tell you real quick before we go is that one of the benefits of having a software firewall is that when you run it and you need to access certain applications, it prompts you, should I open up this port? The thing with the hardware firewall is that you have to manually do that. You have to find out exactly which ports that certain applications are trying to access and then go in and set those up. So hardware is definitely a little harder to set up because you're going to have to open those holes up manually. So software, definitely recommendations for software, the built-in one that's built into Windows XP. We also like
Zone Labs.
Anything from Zone Alarm is awesome, good software, and the McAfee personal firewall is also pretty easy to use and a nice little firewall as well.
And look, they even do have Cisco firewalls.
Cisco firewall, 16 grand.
That's a little high end for what you got.
Thanks for the call, Chris.
We're just getting started. We're going to keep looking for routers on eBay. We're just getting started with Robot Week. We met a robot yesterday that mimics expressions and tried to read them. But you know what? We're going to talk about whether or not robots should even have emotions later on in the show. Plus, after the break, the first annual Robo Olympics, Dan Foo Heward was there to witness the excitement. We're going to tell you all about it when the Screensavers continue.
Into building robots, then you know Robot Competitions is where it's at. Earlier this month, the largest and most diverse robot competition took place, the Robo Olympics, and Dan Arfu-Difu Heward was there to take in all the action.
We're here at Fort Mason in San Francisco. We're looking at robots today. It's the first inaugural Robo Olympics. 11 countries, 400 robots, and over 500 geeks. Let's go check it out. I'm here with David Calkins, the president of the Robotics Society of America. We're here at the Robo Olympics. Tell me about it. How did this start?
We do a lot of different competitions around the country. We have, combat robot competitions, we do robot sumo competitions, robot soccer, and you talk to a lot of roboticists who never actually do any other events, and they have so much to offer each other, and so much more to offer the audience as well as if we bring them all together. And we're also trying to bring lots of kids into this as well as adults and educate them and say, hey, this is cool stuff that you can do.
What brought you guys here?
We kind of really like robots, so we just came to see them and watch them like beat the crud out of each other.
What about you, Dad?
Same thing. We love to watch them smash each other into bits.
I'm here with the competitors in the pit room. Some are tuning up, some are repairing. Let's go check out, see what they're up to. What happened?
Well, we went up against some of the teams that are from Japan, and the teams from Japan have been doing this for, years.
So you lost?
Basically, really, really badly. You get 2 chances. If you push them out, you get a point. If they push you out, they get a point. Okay. And so the person that gets first to 2 points wins.
What is this?
It's a nano sumo robot.
So it's a sumo wrestler.
Yes, it fights with another robot.
How much does this tiny little thing weigh?
This thing weighs 25 grams, and it actually has lead added to it to make it weigh the maximum weight that it can, because the more you weigh,
The more you can push.
just like real sumo, the heavier you weigh, the better you're going to do.
This bout is over.
That was awesome.
Not bad, huh?
I like the little tiny sumo robots. Those are cool.
Little guys are great. Little sumo wrestlers.
Now, he pushed off that other... How much can that little thing push, do you know? I mean,
Push me off.
Yeah, right. There's got to be more than that, though. You have a lot of stuff. I mean, there was like, what, how many events?
Oh, God. gosh, I don't even know how many events.
You spent the entire day there.
Spent the entire day, but yeah, there's a lot more coming. There's robot soccer. There's what else do we have? There's robot soccer. Oh, and then there's like a freestyle competition with robots like kicking and punching, and there's regular wrestling.
Cool. So we're gonna have that on tomorrow then. We have another segment. Is that tomorrow? We have
tomorrow.
Thursday. Okay,
Yeah.
Thursday. Cool.
Sure.
Excellent. Thanks, Dan. That was a cool first segment. Now let's see what Pat and Yoshi are up to in the lab.
Oh, this week, for Robot Week, we're building our own robots. Everybody on staff volunteered to build a kit. Yoshi introduced Yoshi. It's a new version of your name.
Hey,
Yoshi.
whatever.
So we normally say and introduce like all 5 of the kits. Everybody of us picked one. I have the Octobot Survivor robot, which at the moment is mostly a circuit board and a pile of parts. Yoshi, what are you building?
I'm building the Hexapod 2, which is a 12-servo walker. And I've got like half my legs done, well, actually 4 of my legs out of the 6 done. And that should be done tomorrow morning early sometime, or tomorrow during the show.
How come you don't have the one with 9,000 parts to solder?
I'll help you out with those.
Sarah, which one do you have going?
I've got Bug Brain 3.0.2. I picked him because he's so cute, but I've got a lot to do. This is all some parts here, and I've got to figure out how to put it together, but I'm not going to take any help from the boys. Let that be clear. That's right.
The gender
Sorry.
gauntlet has been raised.
You're gonna have to put little pink boots on yours or something. You need little pink boots or.
Perhaps I will.
I don't know. I have the Cybug artificial life form. Mine's not really all that impressive. That's mine. There we are.
At least yet.
What does yours look like? This is the finished product.
This is a Trekker. It's completely finished.
Yeah, right. You've got a lot. Something tells me that there's going to be interns working on this at like 2 in the morning, Dan. Are you seriously going to get this all done?
I'll see. This is what it's going to look like.
That's cool.
It's pretty much a line follower. It follows lines, and it'll.
What do these little bulbs do right here? These little.
They're tires.
There's tires.
Wheels.
Okay.
And so eventually it's going to grab me a beer.
Nice. Pat, what's coming up?
Well, first of all, we'll correct Foo's misclaims for his robot later on. Right now, emotional robots, is this a good or a bad thing? This vision of a robot crying in the hallway. And up next, Tim's stuck between Apple's iBook and the PowerBook. We're going to help him decide which one he wants to choose. It's all coming up when the Screensavers continues. Tim joins us on the phone from Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? How's it going?
Pretty good.
Cool.
How can we help you today, Tim?
Well, they just opened up this huge Mac store in the mall near my house.
They did here as well. They just opened up a new Mac store.
Just have a lot of glass and stainless steel and steps you can see through. And
Oh, yes, I love it.
they're pretty, aren't they?
New favorite store.
Really?
Yeah.
It sounds like you're ready to go shopping then.
Yeah, and I was wondering, which is better, an iBook or a PowerBook?
How much money you got?
Enough to get one.
Okay.
Okay. What are you looking to do with your iBook or new PowerBook?
Well, I want to do a lot of graphics and illustrations, and I put out a magazine.
I would.
Biggest drawback of the iBook, if you're into graphic design, maximum resolution you can run in the native display is 1024 by 768, which is nothing when it comes to what graphic designers really need for real estate.
Worse than that is the iBooks actually have considerably less cache, L2 cache on the chip, which basically means the chip's going to run a little bit slower, and you've got a much smaller cap on main system memory. It's, I believe, 640 megabytes for the iBooks versus 2 gigabytes for the PowerBooks. PowerBook's a much, much more high-end machine.
Now, you carried around the iBook for quite some time, about 2 or 3 months, right?
Yeah.
And you used it mainly for word processing.
That was one of the original
email.
G3s. The original G3 power
Those are a lot slower.
iBooks, I wouldn't say buy. With the G4s now, they're great. When you say you produce a magazine, are you talking about Photoshop and Quark or?
Yeah, I would say Photoshop.
Photoshop? What's the biggest file size you usually work with?
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes I use small images. Sometimes they can be huge.
Do you ever find yourself looking at like a 300 megabyte image where it wants to cache like a gigabyte of memory while it's working on it?
No, I wouldn't say I get that big.
Okay. If you're not running into that situation, then you probably can get enough juice out of the iBook. But I'll tell you what.
The screen. Just out of curiosity, Tim, what are you running right now? What's your home machine look like?
Well, my home machine now is a Vio. I'm running XP, but I don't like Windows.
Do you like the resolution? Is it like 1024 by 768 that you're running right now? Is it a lot?
Yeah. I mean, I like my Windows machine, but
I just want a Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing you're going to notice is, the resolution size is going to change. 14 inches isn't too big, but like Kevin was saying before, 10 by 7, it's going to seem a little constrained if you're working with really big images or page layout. You can do it, but it's a little old school. Biggest thing I'd worry about, though, is, 256K L2 cache.
Not a whole lot
all
of
those
cache on
processors on the iBook versus if you're going into the PowerBooks, you're looking at 512K, so double the cache. And as you get into the larger ones, 15-inch, 1280 by 854, which isn't the best, not my favorite resolution, but still better than 10 by 7. And if you get into the 17-inch, which is insane money, you get like a ridiculous 1400 by 900. They're nice. They're great for video editing. They're great for running Photoshop. If you can afford it, I'd say go for the PowerBook.
One quick thing I recommend for anybody that's interested in buying a Mac, go to a site. It's called MacRumors.com. And what they do is they have a page where you can click on, it says buying new hardware. And it's going to tell you how long that existing hardware has been out. Because a lot of the times, someone will buy something like Leo, and then 2 weeks later, they'll come out with something brand new. So they're going to tell you exactly when they're expecting refreshes in the product line. It's important to know when they're going to do an update so you don't get stuck with some old hardware when you can just wait a few weeks.
Another good thing to do is don't buy your memory from Apple. They get an insane markup on Apple-branded memory. Buy your memory from a third party.
There we go. MacRumors.com is called the Buyer's Guide. And here's Sarah with a quick tip.
That's right. There are online dictionaries all over the net. You know them, you love them, but Google is my favorite. If you don't know how to use Google the best way, from Google or your Google toolbar, just type in define : and then the word that you want to find. In this case, one of my favorite words, capricious. And just press enter, and it'll give you the definition from a bunch of resources and provide links to all the corresponding sites. Easy as pie, good times. Now don't go anywhere. My download of the day is a good one. Still ahead, and it's all about thumbnails. And after the break, learn how emotions are playing a role in the development of robots when the screensavers continue.
Welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Norton. Coming up in this half hour, Sarah's going to have some fun with thumbnails and her download of the day. Then Leo's going to join us with a great tip about Bluetooth technology. And Robert is scratching his head about registering XP. Does he have to do it again if he's got a used PC? Right now, though, I want to welcome you back. One of the big themes we're finding in Robot Week is the role emotions will play in robots. Donald Norman is a professor of computer science and psychology at Northwestern, an advocate for human-centered design, author of the classic The Design of Everyday Things, and most recently, Emotional Design, Why We Love or Hate Everyday Things. He joins us now by satellite from Chicago, Illinois, to discuss the needs for emotions in robots. Is Professor, Doctor, Mr. Norman, Donald, what can I call you?
That's me.
All right. What exactly? I'm going to call you Professor. I'm a huge fan of your earlier writings. What exactly is human-centered design?
You guys will be the last to know, I think. It's designed for ordinary people who don't understand the technology, who say, hey, guys, I just want it to work, I just want to read my mail.
Oh, I say that all the time.
People who don't have to worry about routers, who don't set up challenges to hackers. It's human-centered, humans, those everyday people.
Make it simple. Make it obvious. How's that? Maybe reduce the jargon. Is it safe to say that you're consistently annoyed by the unnecessary complexity of today's products?
That's a quote. I'm consistently annoyed by the unnecessary complexity of today's products.
All right, that's a bad idea. You've mentioned email. You've pointed out that we were talking earlier on the show about how frustrating it can be to set up a router to configure safety. I mean, we're in an interesting space. We have a lot of geeks in the audience who are looking for ways to make it easier and simpler to protect systems. That would mean in our case maybe getting Windows to be so flawless that it wasn't easy to invade it or infect it with worms and viruses by opening attachments. It's an obvious thing to do to an email, opening an attachment, but it's one of the primary ways that viruses get into systems.
But attachments should be okay, by the way. Attachments are a good thing. It's the fact that back in the early days, old people like me remember it, we trusted everybody, so we designed systems that were really powerful. And it was a good thing to send somebody else a program, to send somebody a macro. That made them more powerful and made it easier to do your work. We never realized that there would be all those people out there trying to take advantage and use that to break into computer systems. As a result, I think all of our systems are flawed, whether it's Linux or Mac or Windows. They all basically started with this basis of trust. which doesn't work in today's society. I think we have to start over.
So we should draw a line in the sand, wipe everything, and rebuild it.
That may be. It may be.
Looking forward, robots, obviously they're well integrated in industrial environments where, you take some effort to, say, crash an arm that's moving on an assembly line. Somebody has to get in there, access, know how to program it. What about as we're designing more robots for use in our homes or for use in more direct interaction?
So let me use that. If you think about the way an ant evolved, or a lobster, or a lizard, survival was critical. They had to survive under unexpected circumstances, and so emotions were basically all they had. So the emotional system is the survival system for animals. And the same reason that animals work, humans need them. Humans need emotions. And I think our computers are going to have emotions too. It's for survival. They should be afraid of heights. They should be afraid of strangers. They should be afraid of new circumstances. That's what makes us survive. That's what will make complex machines survive.
So when you say complex machine, are we talking about real human emotions, or do we sort of label an algorithm that says this is, don't go there, a bad thing will happen, as you have that Thelma and Louise moment?
No, that's a bad idea, because that's the old artificial intelligence fallacy. If you name it, it shall be. Nah. So what you need is something kind of like machine emotions, emotions that are appropriate for machines. So the iRobot vacuum cleaner is scared of heights. So it's automatically built. It's got circuits in there. As soon as it detects a height, it backs away. So even though it works around the floor really fast, it will never fall off anything. That's a good emotion, and that's the kind of emotions we need. I want my RAID array, when it's lost a disk, I want it to be nervous. And so if you're going to put together a grid computer, you should go ask. You say, hey, computers, I'm going to do a complicated task. Who's feeling good? And one machine will say, hey, I'm good. I was just service. I have all new parts. And the other machine will say, oh, I don't know. I lost a RAID. I lost a disk. And the technician's going to come and service me. And you know what happens every time the technician comes? I get worse. So you better not use me.
Don't let him touch it again. I mean, it's an interesting thought. You're talking about building a huge amount of, I'm going to use a dangerous word here, intelligence or self-reliance. I'm not sure what phrase to use. And we have to learn to trust the machines. Now, okay, I trust the engine in my truck pretty implicitly. I trust my can opener pretty implicitly. How long do you think it'll take before people will trust computers implicitly? You know what I mean? Could you say this like...
Let me tell you, you already do. You're driving your car at high speed down the highway and you brake, you're trusting your computer. There are about 40 or 50 computers in your automobile, and you better trust them. Same when time you fly an airplane.
Let me repurpose my question.
It's the computers we don't see that we trust.
Well, okay, about the computer, how long before the computers I see, how long before I trust Windows, or I trust Linux, or I trust OS 10? I mean, I have 3 different acquaintances who within the last month on all 3 of those platforms who have had massive hard drive crashes and loss of data. What is it, how far out before we can implicitly trust my Windows system to tell me that the hard drive's going down, or it's feeling a little under the weather today? I should stop browsing on that website.
You know what it really is? It's whether you want to pay for it. That in the automobile, life-critical components, you can trust. And, when you're running Windows XP, or for that matter, Mac OS 10, it's not life-critical. And nobody should be using these computers for life-critical situations. So they aren't built to be trusted in that sense, because if they did, it would cost more money. It's that simple. But that's going to change, because we're going to start making things that are evolved, much more like animals, and I think that have these safety mechanisms that make them trustworthy.
Yesterday we had an engineer on who demonstrated Vera, a robot project that's designed to both analyze emotions that are in front of it. I don't know if you can see that image there, and actually is the early stages of expressing emotions and using the facial characteristics that humans are familiar with. This is a good idea? It's a complicated interface? Or?
No, but these are fake.
Right.
These are robots that, oh yeah, gee, I can tell you're happy, so I should do something. I'm not sure what I should do, but it's nice to know you're happy.
Or should I keep doing what I'm doing?
I make believe, my happiness level is 7.643. No, I want real emotions because they serve a function. The fact that we smile is not because we think smiles are neat things. It's because when we're happy, we relax. We're happy, we draw things towards us, and the muscles automatically respond. And we interpret the smile as, oh, that person is feeling good. It's not a fake thing. You can tell when someone's faking a smile. No. I want robots that have real emotions and do real things. There's only one that I know of, and that's Cynthia Brizel's Kismet robot, or Leonardo at MIT. All the others, they're fake emotions.
Kismet's an enormously evolved system in a lot of ways. Do you see that, trickling down to more robots in the foreseeable future? I mean, what are the steps to bring something like that out?
In my book, I might as well plug Emotional Design, I point out there are 3 different levels of processing. And the lowest, the visceral, is already there. It's where you are afraid of heights. It's where we're afraid of bitter tastes, and we like sweet tastes. It's where robots you can build in the circuits. An elevator door that detects someone is there and bounces back. That's the visceral level. So we're already building visceral level of protection into a lot of our machines. The behavioral level is more complex. That's like anti-skid braking, when it notices that the wheels should be stopped, but they're not
spinning
skidding
anymore. Right.
That's right. So it vibrates. It puts the motor off fast. That's a behavioral level, emotional kind of response. It's not emotional yet. It would be emotional if the whole car said, hey, wait a minute, I'm using my anti-skid brakes. Maybe the rest of my car ought to be doing something. I'll tense up the front in case I hit something. So we have to take advantage of the fact that one part of the system knows there's something going wrong. The emotional system would say, hey, the whole body should be ready. And then there's a most complex part of the emotional system. We call it reflective. And that's kind of where the self-image, where you look at yourself and you say, things aren't going well. That's not what I meant to say. Or, gee, I'm worried about what's coming off. Or, oh, you did something bad to me. I'm angry at you. So that's the hard part. We've never put that into machines. And that's going to be hard. That's where the machine says, don't use me because I was just serviced, and boy, I don't trust that guy.
The big giant red blinking Auga light going off on the top of it, if nothing else. Professor Norman, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us at the Screensavers. For links to buy Professor Norman's book, check out our show notes at thescreensavers.com. Thank you again. Stay where you are, folks. Robert's on the line wondering if he needs to re-register his XP on a used PC, but up next, it's Sarah's download of the day. This time she's putting thumbnails where no thumbnail has gone before. Coming up on the Screensavers continues.
Checking with the fine folks over at Fresh Gear to see what's coming up tonight. Chris Leary joins us.
Not only at Tech Live, but yes, Fresh Gear as well. I want to ask you guys something. You guys have iPods?
Yes. Yes,
Good.
I do.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're only halfway there because, we're going to show you some fashionable ways to accessorize your iPod. And we've got stuff like car stuff and purses and remote controls and some cooler than others. But you know what? They're all capitalizing on everyone's favorite music player. You guys, of course, dig the iPod purses, right? They should be coming up soon. They got to be running around with an iPod purse, which is actually, it looks pretty good on me, to be honest with you. But
it's a purse. It's a man purse. It is not.
It's a man bag, so to speak. But the fact is, it's going to be on Fresh Gear, which is after Tech Live, which is after the Screensavers. So, boy, if you're watching right now, these guys are entertaining. We're going to do the best we can.
Excellent.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Leary and the ultimate roundup of iPod accessories on Fresh Gear tonight.
That's right. Thanks,
including the Merce.
Yes.
Thanks, Chris. Now it's time for Sarah has a quick little tip.
I love this Merce idea. I have the perfect Merce for you. It's pink.
No.
Absolutely. It's going to be so fun. Matching Merces. Okay.
No.
All right. So in Windows XP, you have a lot of options. If you've got a bunch of image files, you've got them in a folder together, you have a bunch of options for how you want to see them, right? So if you look here, I've got this folder, Sarah's Picks. I have them as a list, but I can change it to thumbnails if I want to, or tiles, or icons, and so on and so forth. But of course, in earlier versions of Windows, you don't have all those options. It can be really annoying if you work with a lot of images to know what you're looking at. You might wish that you had a little bit of way to see the thumbnails a little bit easier, right? I have 2 programs I'm going to show you today that'll add thumbnails in 2 places they have never been before. This works in Windows XP, but it also goes all the way back to 98, including ME, 2000, NT, the whole 9, okay? First one is called Context Thumb View. All you have to do is install it, and then you right-click, and there's your thumbnail. So this is a really cute picture of Kevin and I in Tahoe, and it's just in your context menu, like everything else. If you click on it, it'll open up full, which is great. So I can go through here, and I can go, okay, there's that picture, there's that picture, there's that picture. Okay, I've got a good idea. I love this. It's great. Even in XP, if you don't want to have the full-size thumbnails in your folder, it's a great way to look at it. The next one I have is called Instant Thumb View. It's just like Context Thumb View, made by the same company, but this one, you just hover your mouse right over the image, and it opens right up. So if you don't want to right-click, I suppose, this is just one less step. There's that's kind of a PG picture. And another PG picture. And let's go back down and, okay, that's a little bit better. So we have Instant Thumb View and Context Thumb View. One's a right-click, and one is straight hovering. If you want to fool around with the settings inside each of these programs, you just open up the configuration manager. For example, in Context Thumb View, what do you want the width and the height to be? Do you want to see a bigger thumbnail when you have the caps lock key depressed? Stuff like that. It's cool. These are both free to try for 30 days. After that, they're each $19.95, or you can buy them for $30 together as a bundle. Try it out for a month. See if it helps you navigate through your images more easily. It certainly does with me, because I've got a lot of pictures. I'm a picture freak. To decide if you want to buy the full versions after a month. Whole kit and caboodle's in my download article at thescreensavers.com. All right, boys, put a fork in me. I'm done.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Time, ladies and gentlemen, to kick it over to Leo with his daily tip. Today, he discusses his newfound love of Bluetooth.
Yeah, for a long time, Patrick and I dissed Bluetooth as a technology nobody wanted, an idea whose time had not come, a competitor for Wi-Fi that really couldn't compete. Well, I have to say I was wrong. Bluetooth is actually pretty cool, and I'm using it all the time now. Let me talk a little bit about Bluetooth. It was created by Sony Ericsson more than 10 years ago, named Bluetooth after Harald Blaatland, who was a king of Denmark who united the Danes and the Norwegians and other warring factions in the 10th century. I guess that's the idea, is that these Bluetooth technologies unite devices like mice and phones and PDAs so they can all talk to your computer without wires. Some stats on Bluetooth. It uses 2.4 gigahertz, just like Wi-Fi. Works at a more narrow range, only 30 feet, as opposed to Wi-Fi's 150 feet. It's only 1 megabit, about 1/10 the speed of Wi-Fi. So again, it's not a competitor to Wi-Fi. It's for devices, slower devices, to connect to the computer when you get in range. Now, you can easily add Bluetooth to a computer with a dongle like this from Belkin. This is about $30. Windows XP automatically supports Bluetooth, as does OS X. In earlier versions of Windows, you'll use the CD to install the Belkin drivers. You just plug it into your USB port. If you're on a desktop, this is kind of cool. It also comes with kind of a desktop stand you can put on top and then put this underneath the desktop. Kind of acts like a little antenna. Once you've got the Bluetooth, oh my goodness, the places you'll go. For instance, this is a new Bluetooth mouse from Belkin, about $60, and it connects not by RF but by Bluetooth. Works very well too. Of course, you're probably familiar with Bluetooth phones. That's a really smart way to go. You can sync up with the Bluetooth. I can also use this phone to control my PowerPoint presentations, to start and stop iTunes, because Bluetooth has the ability, once I get within range, of recognizing me and syncing up automatically. Bluetooth earpieces and a whole lot more. Bluetooth is here. It's actually real, and I think more and more computers are going to come with Bluetooth built in. That's it, guys.
Do you see how quick that Leo and Sarah swapped out like that? That was amazing.
Television magic.
Coming up after the break, does Robert need to register XP again if he's buying a buddy's PC? We will tell you right after these messages.
Be sure to catch tomorrow's show. The Southern Oregon Robotics Club joins us with the biped robot designed for the up-and-coming movie iRobot, and learn the basics of building your own robots out of nifty used parts. Plus, we're going to back the DARPA to meet the teams in the competition. That's all coming up on tomorrow's show.
Look at Yoshi, hard at work. It takes a long time to put those things together.
Yes.
Hours and hours and hours. Robert joins us on the phone from Killeen, Texas.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Kevin, Patrick, my heroes. Howdy, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you, sir.
Hey, pretty good.
How can we help you today?
I got a question.
All right.
And my question is, I've got a friend, my best friend. We're like big-time gamers, and we're at that point in our life where we can buy all the latest and greatest hardware. And my friend just bought a PC just a few months ago and wants to get another one and sell me his for real cheap, $500. And when I get it, I want to wipe the hard drive and reinstall XP. And what kind of problems am I going to run into with that?
Shouldn't run into any problems at all. Is he selling you the copy of Windows XP or the disk that it was installed from?
Right, but when you register, do you? I don't understand XP as well as 98. You know, I have 98 in my old system.
Right.
So do I have to put in like name, address, and whatnot? And
no, you basically you install it. You type in the serial number that came with the Windows XP disk. Then it does, when it gets to a certain point in the installation, it does the product activation. Okay. What it does is it basically looks at all the system, basically looks at all the parts inside your system, creates a hash, sends that hash up to the mothership servers at Microsoft.com, and then it generally sends back approval, and it finishes installation. If it has any problems with the installation, like let's say maybe your version of Windows or your serial number has been installed on 7,000 systems in the last 3 days, then you're probably going to be told to call up Microsoft and talk to them directly.
But you're not going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked to several people that have reinstalled Windows, multiple times, and there shouldn't be any issues until you get into that over 10 installations. 10, 15 installations, people start freaking out.
And they also got to happen real close to each other. Two here, 3 in 3 months, 4 months, they're not really going to notice.
Yeah.
But yeah, just reinstalling it, you're golden, Robert, and you basically don't need to give them any information at all.
Yeah, enjoy that new machine.
It'd be nice.
Let's check in with Dan for a helpful tip.
Thank you, fellas. The NCAA tournament gets the Sweet 16, but we get the Geek 16. It's a game that lets you predict the computer and consumer electronics technology if they'll win the top spot. We're in the Elite 8 until midnight tonight, so go to thescreensavers.com and fill out your predictions in our first annual Geek Brackets. But coming up, time to see what's on your mind. It's finally next. When we come back.
Jim from the audience, if you caught yesterday's show, there was an announcement. Sarah and I are having a baby. This is what Jim created for us. Congratulations, Kevin said. There's Jim. Let's say hi to Jim. Hey, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, there was
a lot.
We actually,
great.
One of the web guys told me there's a thread on the message boards on how to name the baby. It's going on the message boards right now, but
yeah, like
it's
they
not
have
true.
ideas like Kevin 2.0.
I like that.
That's really funny.
I think that's cool.
That's great.
Sarah 2.1.3.
There's no bun. I would show you, but this is a family show.
Hey, wouldn't it have showed up in the full body scan?
That's true. Would have showed up in the full body scan.
Okay, well that was no skin. No skin. All right, can we get to emails now?
Let's do it.
There's no button.
By all means.
All right. Mike wants to know, he's got an AMD 64-bit processor. Should he use Windows XP or Windows XP 64?
Ooh, now we played with Windows XP 64. Didn't Robert Heron bring it on here and just play around with it? But it's beta.
Yeah, it's like a developer's beta. I wouldn't touch that on my... If it's the only system you have, don't load the 64-bit version of Windows for that yet. If you're a developer, if you want to experiment, if you have 2 of those systems in your house, then start playing around with it. But for your main system, especially if you want to do gaming and stuff...
Yeah. Do a nice little dual boot or something if
Right.
you're curious. But other than that, it's not ready for prime time.
Yeah, if it'll even dual boot.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Good question.
Okay,
Sarah?
David wants to know, should I buy an 8X DVD burner or get the dual layer burners coming out this summer?
Ooh, that's a good question because I'm in the same predicament right now.
8X DVD burners under $150, starting at $115. Dual layer burners will start out where 4X and 2X DVD burners were. They'll be at like $500, $600 if they even ship
I'm
this
waiting
summer.
for dual layer. That's what I want. Copy to copy DVDs, like 1-to-1. You don't have to do 2
The
discs.
thing is, though, is we don't know if they're actually... They should ship this summer, and they're going to be hecka expensive, and the media is going to be hecka expensive.
But we will
wicked expensive.
We will have them here first to review them, definitely. Right. We'll get them on before anybody else does.
Wait. I'll be
Is that
honest with
why
you.
we always have to eat at McDonald's because you're buying all that expensive stuff?
No. I hate McDonald's. That's it for this edition of the Screensavers. I'm Kevin Rose.
I'm Patrick Norton. Thanks for joining us. We'd like to thank our guests, Donald Norman and R2D2, and I want to say, hey, ghetto hackers are a force for good. Not evil.
Hope it's still alive. We haven't taken it down yet.